Hey guys, what's going on? My name is John Lester, Gamester81. We are recording, this is episode 106 of the All Gen Gamers. We're recording this on August 7th, 2012. I'm here with Jason Melgius Rocks. What's up, Jason?
Not much, man.
Also here with Jason, the EMU Review.
What up, guys?
And last but certainly not least, I'm here with Pete Dorr.
Hello.
And we are joined by a good friend of mine. His name is Joe Cody. And he is the owner of the gaming website, the retail website called Atari2600.com. Joe, how you doing?
John, hi. Thanks for having me on tonight. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
You know, it's funny. I'm trying to think how I actually met Joe initially. I think I was looking for a Bally Astrocade, I think was the first thing I purchased from you, Joe. And I was looking online. I couldn't find it. I came across your site, blown away. And lo and behold, you're like right down the street from where I live. So it was convenient. And this was happened, 3-4 years ago, Joe? I've known you for a while.
Oh, I would think more, probably longer than that. Maybe I'm thinking more like 5 or 6 years ago. Yes.
Yeah. So good friend of mine, and you've got a very incredible site. I always refer people to your site when they're asking for retro games, when they're looking for sites that aren't necessarily auction related. You've got a great selection of games, and you carry games pretty much up to the Nintendo Entertainment System, correct?
That's right. Through the Nintendo NES and then all the previous generation. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Joe, why don't you kind of explain just a brief history about how you got started? I know you've told me a number of times. I kind of find it fascinating, actually, as far as how you got kind of involved with the website and kind of what's going on, and go from there.
Well, thanks for the introduction. Well, I guess to keep it short and interesting, it starts back in my college days, and my interest in video games kind of took a lapse after my teenage years. I think that's probably pretty common for a lot of people. But during college, I kind of found that I still had an interest and went looking for, actually at the time, Atari 2600 system, and this would have been in the 1990s. And found a gentleman in the local area here that sold them. And I bought my first game system, my second Atari 2600 system, my first being long since gone through probably a garage sale. But anyway, that really kind of started my interest. And then the game business sort of followed it from a casual interest to a serious interest, maybe to a collector, to maybe selling extra copies on the side, to like a part-time business, to a full-time occupation, just right on up through the years.
That's cool. And so what is it about the Atari 2600, Joe, that you're seeing? I mean, obviously, it's a lot of collectors still collecting for it. A lot of homebrews still be made. What is it about that system that brings that intrigue still, that interest?
Well, I think it's more with the Atari 2600, I think you have a cultural aspect that's different than a lot of the other game systems, maybe before or after it, in that it was a cultural icon for a lot of people in the early 1980s and even in the late 70s. And so that nostalgia never really goes away. I think that's probably a big factor. And then you get down to the games themselves. A lot of them are compelling and fun to play. It's a system that families can enjoy, young people, older people. We have a lot of customers that I know are senior citizens and on up, and they still enjoy playing the systems and collecting video games for it as well. So, it's I think it'll always be fondly remembered, and at least if you were, coming of age during that time period.
Yeah.
And you ship all over the world, correct?
Yeah. Yep. In fact, sometimes I like to say that we ship to all continents, and last year we did, including Africa. So not a lot of Atari systems going to Africa these days, but last year we did send, it wasn't a game system, but we did send some video games to a country in Africa. So all continents, except Antarctica. Still waiting for that order to come in.
they're playing,
all the major continents, yeah, everywhere around the world.
I think they're playing Ice Climber.
Oh,
and
boy.
games like that,
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Gamester 81. No, that's a great resource for people, though. You know what I mean? It's great to mention. I'm glad you did, so that everyone listening, because we have listeners all over the world. So that's a really great resource for them too. If you guys are looking to get into that, definitely visit the site and check that out.
I mean, there's hotbeds of collecting that, and by collecting, it would also be just game enthusiast. I mean, in South America, obviously Brazil is like a huge game collecting area in Brazil. Argentina, and then into Europe, Australia, of course, and then Europe, all the Western European countries. We do ship a number of items going to like Czech Republic, Eastern Europe a little bit, India, occasionally, even into India, Israel we ship to. So these are kind of unusual destinations that, Japan, of course, that, you don't really just like jump out at you. But yeah, there's people that collect South Africa, places like that people buy and play classic video games all around the world.
What are some of the trends you're seeing as far as games, retro games go? What are some of the hot items? What are people buying?
Well, most of the pricing and information I have in that would be on the Atari 2600 in particular. And I can tell you that comparing prices to 1 year ago, the prices are up about 4 to 5%. That's just an average across the board for Atari 2600 games. The bottom of the prices most recently kind of dropped out about 3 or 4 years ago. I would say probably 2008, 2009. And the prices have recovered from that period and are higher than they were before that. So the slight, probably 2-year dip in the prices, and now they fully recovered and are actually increasing again. So strong market.
Okay, I have some questions, Joe.
Go right ahead.
I got a couple of big questions here. First one, and we didn't ask this at the beginning because we're getting through all that good stuff. But what is your favorite Atari 2600 game of all time?
Wow.
I know
a little bit on the spot, and it's tough to pick a favorite. That's like asking which was your favorite girlfriend in high school or something. I don't know. They were all really special in a special way, I guess. But there's some favorites, and I don't know. I think that nowadays what probably gets played the most is games that are multiplayer for the 2600. So those would be competitive or even cooperative type games. I mean, these would be just throw out a couple of titles, I guess, would be we play Indy 500. We like to play Skydiver because of the cooperative gameplay, actually competitive. Star Wars Jedi Arena. We like that one because it's a 2-player simultaneous gameplay. Even some of the Space Invader game variations where you have a 2-player competitive gameplay on screen at the same time. So I guess I'm going to have to stay with some of those because, gosh, man, I mean, all-time favorite. Boy, that's a tough.
Yeah, I know it's a difficult question. We just ask all of our guests.
I would say, okay, I'll just go ahead and throw out, I will throw out as my personal favorite that I love to play would be Warlords, and I'm pretty good at it too, so I guess that helps.
That's a great port too. A great port for the Now, Joe, wasn't it not too long ago you showed me a Warlords port that was ported to a system that was kind of was it a homebrew or it was never?
There is, John. There's a dynamic homebrew for the 2600. It's called Medieval Mayhem. It's a couple years old now, but I guess you would call it a hack, but I think it actually was pretty much all new code. And by that I mean it's Warlords, but the graphics improvement are incredible with the animations, the introductory screens. I mean, it's the way Warlords should have been produced for the 2600 system originally.
Now I have to ask real fast. Have you played the Warlords, I guess, remakes, you can call them, on the Xbox 360 by chance?
I fiddled with it a little bit, but I haven't played it extensively. I think it's pretty well done.
I have to agree. I mean, I have a friend, and every time we go over and we browse through his Xbox Live Arcade games, because I forced him to buy Warlords on the 360, and he tells me every time it's the worst $5 he's ever spent. However, that is probably our most played Xbox Live Arcade game at his house. So, I mean, it contradicts itself, but I find it to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot easier than the original Warlords, I'll tell you that much, because they throw in the original in there as well on the 360 port, and it's just the remake is slowed down, but it's fun. I
think the charm with Warlords perhaps was the ability to have 4 players simultaneous gameplay, which and it always happens. It evolves into a ganging up, favoritism. Partners.
Oh boy.
Let's not don't take out my castle. Let's pick on.
Don't ever play Warlords with 3 players. That's the worst. Right, when you're stuck in the middle, you are in trouble.
Yeah, it's so true. I love the arcade. It's such a beautiful cabinet. The reflective. That's like a 3D, almost 3D effect to it. It's such a beautiful cabinet.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. I have a favorite arcade game too. I enjoy arcades. I don't. It's not something that is a product line or anything, but I do enjoy arcade machines. I mean, in fact, I was just thinking about this one not too long ago. I have very fond memories of the Star Wars arcade because at the arcade that was nearest our house growing up, they had the cockpit version. Have you ever seen the? It's the with the sit-down arcade machine.
That was limited. It was limited to like I think maybe 5,000 or less systems.
Yep.
That are. It's a very limited edition one, and that one runs. If you want to get like a sit-down one,
Oh,
you're
God.
looking at like maybe 5,000 or more.
How much?
5,000 or more.
Make sure to follow us, the All Gen Gamers podcast, on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube and in iTunes. And don't forget about those iTunes ratings, guys. We appreciate those. And for all other info, links, and our forum, please visit www.allgengamers.com.